Morning, Alex. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, Alex, what kind of fish are we trying to catch today?
Snapper. We're gonna catch some snapper and barracuda.
Captain Alex, where are we?
We are at little old Shanghai boat right in front of Matachica.
Matachica.
About to see some sharks, some spotted eagle ray.
Now, Mr. Alex and I are out snapper fishing, and snapper fish, they live in the rocks and the corals. So he's just gonna cast out a little bit, and then once it hits the bottom, you bring it up a little bit and make sure there's a little bit of tension on the line. As soon as you feel them bite, you bring it back and hook it and reel it in. I haven't done this in some time, so I'm a little rusty. So Alex is gonna take over and just make sure we at least have something to eat while they're biting.
This is gone. Hey, Rasta, when them fish that book me today? They're coming. They're hungry right now. Change the bait a bit.
So the catch to when you go fishing in Belize is if you don't catch anything, you don't get to eat. There's no backup plan. I mean, maybe we could pull up to a restaurant, but usually you pull up to a beach and whatever you catch, your tour guide's going to fillet it and just cook it the best way you could possibly imagine. Great experience, but you have to catch the fish. So we know we're gonna catch it, but it's just, you know, we gotta get that one, and then we can relax. This is lunch right here. I did it. You were good. All right. So up ahead we see the beautiful blue water that we're used to seeing, and then here we're just in this darker colored water. You can see the sargassum going all the way up to the shoreline. And it's all undeveloped land over here, so that's why no one's moving it, and it just looks so dark and it leaches so far out. So that's why we need a collective to come together and stop this thing before it even makes it to shore. So it's not just the responsibility of every single property owner going way up or in town. The San Pedro Town Council is really good about staying on top of it, because it impacts everyone, not just here in Belize, but all around the world. There's probably something else about it that people don't talk about that we should be concerned about. What can you tell us about sargassum in this darker kind of water?
It's a little bit warmer, kills the fish, it lets out some gas so the fish cannot breathe. All that water goes back to the reef, it damages the reef, you know. The reef needs to breathe as well, so what happens around kills a lot of fish, right?
What do we do to mitigate this as people?
Well, we need to work as a community, you know, we need to find some sort of strategy whenever that sargassum is coming in to grab it before it gets to the beach.
Okay, are they doing this in other places? And just like...
If you watch Mexico, they're doing it in Mexico, right? So might as well, we gotta try to do something with the sargassum as well, try to make center boxes like you see Mexico they're using to make center boxes. So we can figure out what we can use to do to make with these resources, right?
That sounds really expensive. How much do you think a system like that would cost? Do you have any idea?
Well, all depends, you know. They have different type of machinery. It can cost like $500,000, $1 million. All depends how many center blocks you can make for the day, right?
I mean, that's not too bad, because even just one catamaran's like $500,000. So, you know,
That's
invest
right.
the amount of a catamaran into doing some of this prevention.
That's right. Then like that, we're gonna have more fish and more tourists. We will have better beaches.
I remember 20 years ago walking down the beach in Ambridges Key. Like, most of it was beachfront, and wherever you walked, there was just little schools of fish.
That's right. And now what you think happened? All that sargassum goes to the beach, so the fish has nowhere to live. The water gets warm, so they gotta go out deeper in the water, right?
Yeah. So, I don't know. This sounds like a GOB thing. Sorry to rake you guys into this, and the NGOs. So, if anyone wants to start looking into solutions, we could definitely use it out here to keep our reef, second largest barrier reef in the world, healthy, which drives the fishing, the tourism economy, everything. So
that's right. So come on, guys, let's find a solution for all this, right?
Captain Alex, how many islands does Belize have?
approximately like 250 to 300 islands. There are like 100 to 125 islands that people live on.
And how many of them have you been to?
Probably like 100 to 75 of them, all over to Turnip, mostly over that side.
And how is the fishing at these islands?
Those islands are a lot more fishing because this may sound a lot of people, but there's not a lot of people that lives out here. So it's good fishing, and not a lot of resort as well.
Okay, like we got a good amount of snapper, enough for lunch, but it seems like they're kind of not on the larger side.
That's right, because we're inside the reef right now and the tide is kind of a little low. The best time to fish is when the tide is high.
And when's that usually?
Normally in the morning from like 7 to like 10.
Oh, okay. And we're at like noon right now, so.
Noon right now.
Yeah.
We still catch fish though, don't worry.
Yeah. No, I'm not concerned. I already have my lunch. Alex, which spot on the island has the best coconuts?
All over has the best coconuts as long as you pick the right coconut and it's sweet.
How do you know it's sweet?
Taste the water.
Okay, but
All water tastes different.
okay, so you just try one, make sure it's sweet, and then you
That's
get the
right.
rest
They
of them.
got green coconut and they got yellow coconut.
Which
Yellow coconut are much more sweeter than the greener coconuts. Their trees are much more shorter than the green coconuts as well, so you can tell.
is there like a size? Like, do you get them when they're like still like young and green, or how can you
That's right.
guess?
You get them when it's a little bit young and green. You don't want them whenever the skin is too tough, right? Because then the meat is a little bit too hard already.
All right, but if the meat's hard, it's good for other things, right?
That's right.
Like making coconut milk.
Making coconut milk, making coconut sweet, whatever you want to make out of coconut.
Coconut oil.
Coconut oil.
Okay.
Normally you make out of coconut oil the dry coconuts, the ones that are brown. Too many sardines in the water.
Ooh, a good amount. Oh my goodness, I am so burnt right now. Even the filter can't help me. We're spearfishing and we're at this secret spot 20 miles north of San Pedro town. It's just 8 miles from the Belize Mexico border. And we saw huge lobster, huge conch, but they're out of season.
Conchs and lobster out of season.
Yeah, even though they're a good size, they have a job to do. They have to make babies so we can have next year's animals to eat. There are also some pretty big snapper, but we didn't spear anything, but fortunately we caught enough stuff today. So now we're just going to come up onto the beach and Captain Alex is going to make me my lunch. Captain Alex, how can people be a respectful guest when they are snorkeling in the reef?
Not standing too much on the corals and not lifting your fins too much where it causes sediment, stirs up the sand.
So you have to be really calm.
That's right. The more you float, the better.
Yeah, so even if you're not a life jacket person, you might want to consider it just so you're a better guest.
Right.
And also, what about sunscreen?
You don't need sunscreen.
Yeah, just wear a rash guard and then you don't need sunscreen. So I wish I thought of that sooner because, yeah, I'm going to look like a lobster tomorrow. All right, I got my little to-go plate at the boat up ahead. Hi, doggy. All right, bye, dog. Bye. Thanks for having me over for lunch. You can see the reef right there, and you can hear it too. This is like one of the fly fishing capitals of the world out here.